Hi guys, thanks for joining us again on the channel. So, there's a reason I haven't talked about this one until now. It's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but because I needed to get it right. And now, the wait's over. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer was on the hunt for a first electric scooter for their daughter, who was moving up from a traditional kick scooter. They had considered full-size models, but were concerned that they were designed for older kids and had too many complex controls that could be overwhelming. Furthermore, while the speed on larger scooters can be limited, a curious child could potentially override those settings. After looking at other options that were either too expensive or didn't suit their daughter's style, they found a perfect match. Our reviewer noted that this particular electric scooter was offered at a very reasonable price point for what feels like a well-built product. Getting it set up was a breeze, requiring just a few bolts to attach the front wheel and the handlebar. This client was particularly impressed with a small design detail that helped the handlebar center itself perfectly during installation. Once it was charged up, the first ride revealed several pleasant surprises. The scooter is shockingly quiet, so much so that they initially thought it wasn't working until it glided away with a whisper. The transition from a non-powered model was seamless, as the deck controls were intuitive, and the familiar rear fender brake provided an immediate sense of safety. The acceleration was also praised for being smooth and gentle rather than jerky. While it has some heft to it, the child didn't mind the weight, and our reviewer was glad they avoided the much heavier models they had previously considered. The design was also a big hit, so much so that their daughter felt it looked cool enough as is, without any need for personalizing it with stickers. Overall, the initial experience has been overwhelmingly positive.
Alright, let's find out what our next reviewer has to share.
This reviewer shares an experience that began with purchasing a similar electric scooter from a different company for their 7-year-old. That first one was an instant hit, but it quickly became clear that it was a little too popular. All the neighborhood kids were so enthralled with it that our reviewer's own child was constantly sharing and barely getting any time to ride it themselves. To solve this, the family decided to add a second one to the mix. Since the original brand they bought was unavailable, they chose this particular model instead and have been incredibly pleased with the decision. According to this client, the new scooter has performed just as impressively as the first one, proving to be an equally fantastic choice. There was one minor issue where the charger that came with it stopped working, but they found a simple workaround. The charger from their other scooter fortunately works for both, so they've been able to keep both units charged while they sort out a replacement. The performance has otherwise been flawless. What has stood out the most is the remarkable battery life. Our reviewer compares it favorably to other ride-on electronics they've owned, such as hoverboards, noting that those devices didn't last even half as long on a single charge. The extended playtime has been a huge bonus. In fact, the only real complaint they have is a humorous one. With a whole street full of kids eager to ride, even having 2 of these scooters isn't quite enough to satisfy the demand. It's a testament to how much fun the product is, and they definitely recommend it.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer recently acquired an electric scooter as a birthday gift for their child and has now had some time to reflect on the experience. Setting up this scooter was refreshingly straightforward, taking very little time or effort. Once assembled, our reviewer found that for an 80-pound child, this little vehicle offered decent speed and provided an exciting ride, genuinely making the recipient happy. The primary goal of bringing joy to the child was certainly achieved, especially considering its accessible price point. However, the experience wasn't entirely without its hitches. One disappointment was the premature failure of the wheel lights. They burnt out after only about a week of use, despite no exposure to water. Beyond that aesthetic flaw, our reviewer noted practical drawbacks. This particular scooter lacks a folding mechanism, making storage considerably more awkward, especially given its weight. It proved far heavier than expected, making it less portable for an adult to manage. There's also a somewhat peculiar 2-button control configuration on the flat deck, a design choice that proved cumbersome for anyone with larger feet, making smooth operation tricky. Despite these initial frustrations, particularly concerning the swiftly failing light feature, The most notable part of this entire experience was the exceptional post-sale customer service. Our reviewer was genuinely impressed when the seller proactively reached out to address the issues. They were quick to respond and went above and beyond to make things right. This proactive and helpful approach completely transformed the initial perception of the product. What began as a somewhat disappointing 3-star experience, largely due to the unexpected flaws, was ultimately elevated to a 5-star rating, solely because of the outstanding support received. It truly highlighted the value of excellent customer care in mitigating product shortcomings.
And that's it. If this video helped, hit like and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching.